welcome back to the show. In this episode, we're diving into the recap of last year's highs and lows, the lessons learned, and how they're shaping my goals for the upcoming season. I'll share the gear that made the cut and be coming with me in the next year, the new targets I've set to build for myself, and everything I've learned. Let's jump in and get started here. So section 1 is going to be my 2025 low points. Low point number 1. At the end of September, I had a tough experience where I gut shot a deer. The backstory is I was doing everything by the book as I should have been. I learned a lot about the deer patterns, been doing some observation sits, seeing where he came in and went out. And then I finally had him patterned, so I moved in, and I had an opportunity at 30 yards, and I just pulled the shot in the soybean field. I spent 4 days looking for the deer, walked every part of the property, got a dog, got a drone, never saw the deer again, so it's probably dead. I'll have to go back out and look for him, but never recovered that deer, which is an awful feeling. Low point number 2, another challenging moment this year. I was returning to the same area, had a buck come in, read the script, came to 20 yards. I thought I made a perfect shot on him. And when I got down, I found that the crack that I heard was actually from my arrow hitting a tree underneath him. So missed him at 20 yards, clean miss, luckily. But my shooting leaves something to be desired there. Low point number 3. I was hunting some public land, second week in November. I had actually tried to go to a different spot, but there was a guy already there. I went to a different spot. It was pretty crappy, so I got down. It started to rain. I figured everybody had gone home. So I decided to follow a scrape line and a rub line to where I thought that the terrain had made a natural pitch point. So I set up. As soon as the rain stopped, a doe came wandering out from a thicket, and a huge 150 class buck came following right down the path. And I say 150 class, and that's being conservative. He could have been bigger than that. But he got to about 20 yards, and unfortunately, on the hill that I was on, my shot angle was so steep that my bowstring actually contacted the tether of my saddle, and when I released, the arrow sailed about a foot high over the deer's head, not even in the area that I was aiming. It was a pretty quiet walk out that night and a pretty quiet drive home with the radio off. And I don't think that I've stopped thinking about that deer since I saw him. He was perfect wide buck, split tines. He was just beautiful, brown chocolate rack. Never saw him again. Hunted him every single day. Low point number 4. After that missed shot, I started actively hunting a same buck, but a different buck. I was trying to hunt that 150, but I came across 140 in the same area. So I started just patterning that buck, and I would see him more and more. But he would kind of just beat me by just a little bit. And so that was a low point because I didn't harvest that buck, but I did have about 6 encounters with that buck, all at about 50 to 60 yards. He just tweak his patterns a little bit, and I couldn't find a good pinch point to get him in. So I think someone ended up killing him on a muzzleloader hunt too at the end of the year. The next low point, after the missed shot, I started actively hunting the 150 class buck, and I believed I had a good pattern on him or the 140 class buck. And one morning I walked in the 1.5 miles to the thick brush to get there. I got stuck in kind of a thorn thicket trying to J-hook into the spot and kind of got my stuff in there and kind of had to rip my stand and my bow through the thicket. When I got set up in the tree, I went to nock an arrow, and the arrow was about 3 inches high. My arrow was pointing like straight down, and I couldn't figure out what it was at first, and I realized my string wasn't actually on my cam at all. So I had to get down and walked all the way back to my truck, 1.5 miles, went home, got my other bow, got back in the truck, went back. And unluckily, by the time I got back out there, it was 10 o'clock or so. Didn't see another didn't see a deer that day, or definitely didn't see a buck. So those are my lows. And then for the 2025 highs, highlight number one was unlocking new hunting grounds. One of the biggest highs I got this season was access to about a 300-acre farm. Me and another guy that has both ag and timber. And all he was asking for is that I basically come do an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours of work once a week. And I didn't know if it would pay off, but the land's actually really good. Not a lot of trophy bucks or anything, because they tend to kill a lot of deer there, but a lot of fun hunting and a lot of learning. I'm usually on public land where it's all thick in woods and no chance to glass or really observe deer movement from a distance or anything. So this farm was a game changer because I could actually sit over the bean fields and watch how the deer moved, which is something I've never been able to do before. I had a narrow window, though, because I had to get everything done before Kentucky gun season, because he lets friends and families and a lot of other people come and hunt the gun season on his farm. People he's known for a long time and family. Eventually, I patterned the deer's travel corridors and managed to harvest a beautiful 123-inch buck. My goal this year was another Pope and Young. Fell short of that, but it's a fantastic trophy to me, and I couldn't be happier about it. Highlight number two is turning a miss into a lesson. Another key moment was when I missed that 150 class deer, because the highlight wasn't the miss itself, but because the lessons it taught me. I had to adapt on the fly when my original spot was taken, realize the spot that I went to was crap, and ended up getting down, using the rain to mask my movement and sound, following the signs for the woods, using my woodmanship, and then being able to set up near a thicket. Eventually had a giant buck of doe come out of it. So even though I missed, which was a huge letdown, it was a massive learning experience for me and kind of taught me to trust my gut. Highlight number three was that cat and mouse game with the 140-inch buck. Even though I didn't connect with that one, I was able to learn a lot about buck movements because I saw a lot of different other bucks moving throughout the thicket in the area. I saw him and how he moved, how he used the terrain, the scrapes he used, the bedding he used on highly pressured land. And it was just a really good learning experience for me. Highlight number four is going without trail cameras and trusting my instincts this year. So finally, a big change this season was not relying on trail cameras. In the public, the thick, hilly woods I usually hunt, I've always used cameras to understand what's out there and what's going on, because you can't glass. It's hard to tell from a big buck sign from a smaller buck sign, and you just don't have the ability to have eyes on. But on the private land, I could do observation sits, and on the public land, I hunted trail cameras weren't allowed this year. That forced me to rely on in-season scouting, reading sign alone, and it gave me confidence in my instincts of woodmanship. And it was a huge growth point for me. All right, so let's roll everything together for this season. Goal number one is to make shooting my second nature for this season. So getting it down to muscle memory. I had to go on a work trip for all last summer. My shooting was really good. In the spring, I had gotten it down, and I had to go on that work trip all summer. And when I got back, early season Kentucky had kicked off, and I was overconfident. I thought that I was still shooting good, and then when I went back to practice, I was not shooting good. So I'm just going to start get both my main and my backup bows tuned up, get my broadheads ready to go, and I'm going to do a whole bunch of 3D shoots, shoot in front of people, try to do like high intensity shoots, try to mimic that buck fever, try to get the nerves on edge, and just just get my shooting leveled up this season. On the fitness front, I'm going to expand my garage gym, start eating better, and I'll do a lot of lifting now, but I'm going to try to incorporate a lot of cardio and ruck marches and maybe some runs in there and clean up my diet. So those are my goals for this season. My two main goals anyway. And then I want to go over the kind of gear that I really liked using this season that kind of made a difference, I think. One of them was this bow sight called Elf Tech I got from Lancaster Archery. It was seriously, I know the term game changer gets thrown out a lot, but this one was seriously a game changer for me. I have CSR in my right eye, is the central serous retinopathy, which means that there's like a fluid that builds up under my eye, and it kind of distorts my vision and dims the colors in this light. So, especially in the morning and in the evenings, having this light that has the ability to go from 1 to 15 settings is really nice. I can hunt from as soon as legal shooting light starts until legal shooting light ends. The only downside of the light is that the screen itself lights up. So I've been taking a piece of tape and putting it over it, which isn't a big deal, but I just kind of have to know if it's on or off then. But the light itself will turn itself off after like whatever you set it to, could be 30 seconds. And then if you move the bow, it'll turn itself back on, which is really awesome. So the next piece of gear that I really enjoyed this season was the Lone Wolf Custom Gear Ranger Hybrid platform. Thing is rock solid. You put it on the tree, it's not kicking out. It weighs about the same as a 0.5, which a lot of people are like, how is this saddle stand? Why don't you just use a 0.5? But if you saw this thing, not having the cables, the width of it, you can get all the way around the tree. The teeth bite so well that you have to pull it up to push it down. It's not gonna kick out with you. It's so comfortable. You could turn around and stand on it. It's so big. The only other downside to it is that you can't run a waist strap with it. So when you're hiking in miles in the morning, it does make your shoulders tired if you pack a bag on it or something for bringing all your rut stuff with you. And then the other thing I really liked was I went to the Latitude single panel saddle this year, whatever last season's was. I was running the tethered lockdown saddle, and that was just a little too big and bulky for me with those huge pockets, but it was very, very comfortable. If I was just going to hunt close to a road or something, or maybe some private land, and that's it, I probably would have kept that one. And then the other one, I went to the area of the stream and run the Timber Ninja Mini or whatever it is. It's like an ultralight saddle. It's supposed to be the lightest one on the market. And that was great for walking in, walking out, maybe short sits, but I could just not get comfortable in that thing. It just was extremely, extremely uncomfortable to me. If you can make it comfortable, good on you, but I just could not. So the Latitude was a perfect middle ground of those two different saddles for me. So the other thing that I tried to do this year, or I did do this year, was processing my own deer, and I had never done that before. This was the first season I invested in my own gear. I went with a lot of equipment from Meet Your Maker, which seemed to be pretty good, high quality gear to me. I don't know that much about processing. It ran me about $1,000 for a grinder, a stuffer, some tubs, just a boning knife. I did get a fridge to age my meat in. But it was worth it to me. It was really rewarding. It was a ton of work. But when you're thinking about how much you're paying to have a deer processed, I really enjoy summer sausage. So I was doing a lot of deer, or a lot of it in that. And that was running me $250, $300 a deer, something like that. So if you're going to kill 3 deer a year, or 4 deer, that basically pays off your investment into your own processing gear. So I'm going to continue with that. It is a lot of work, a lot of steep learning curve, a lot of YouTube videos, but very, very rewarding. And then just being able to process your own deer and have your own food is just kind of amazing. So looking ahead to the next few months, kind of like what I have to look forward to, I think it's important for somebody to always have something to look forward to. Kind of keeps you motivated, keeps you thinking about things, keeps you shooting your bow and kind of in the woods. So, I'm going to do winter scouting in the areas I hunted, go get my trail cameras, mark some spots next year for trail cameras where a good place for stands would be. And then just get ready for turkey season. I'm going to hunt Tennessee, Kentucky, and I've really been thinking about the Kansas early archery season because that's all the way in the beginning of April. Then I got all summer going on, hang out, play on the John boat. And then in August, I'm going to be going to Colorado for an archery antelope hunt. I went once before and was able to harvest one. So I'm going to use the same landowner. He charges me a permission fee, but he gives me access to thousands of acres of his land. So to me, that's worth it. And so I'll go out for a week or so out to Colorado in August for about the opener time. Come back, do some more 3D archery. I know I've really been writing down a lot of different areas and writing down which weekends have different clubs opening up. Then after that, I'll just roll straight into the Kentucky opener. So hopefully I could try. My goal would be to take an early season buck on private farm. And if that doesn't work out, just moving from probably some public around there in Kentucky or Tennessee as needed. Hopefully get one on the ground in September or October timeframe. That would be perfect. Because then in early November, I'm going to try to go out to Kansas for a week. I think the first week of Kansas. So I will have more time to hunt Kentucky and Tennessee in the rut in November. But that first week, I'm going to head out to Kansas for a week. And then any extra time after that, I think I would like to either try Indiana or Illinois out and just, if I have that kind of time, but I don't know. I don't want to spread myself too thin. So, and it kind of depends on if I find something big enough to hunt that keeps me in the area. So I'll just kind of remain flexible with that stuff. All right. That wraps up today's episode. Thanks for listening to Rut Funnel Podcast. I appreciate you guys being here, and I'm looking forward to bringing you more as we head into the new season. So until next time, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch up on the next one. Thanks.